So welcome everybody. Today is Tuesday, June 20th, 2017. GamerKulture is the drive, passion, and dedication to all things gaming by the Grand Geek Gathering Network. The ever-changing world of GamerKulture involves communities of all types, the evolving industry that surrounds us, and the people who use it for the betterment of all. You'll notice today that we are down a gamer. Today is Wildcard's birthday. Yay!
Happy
He's
birthday,
a year older.
Wildcard.
Go to his Twitter, which is at true spelled TRU_wildcard, and wish him a happy birthday. Also spam him with inappropriate jokes.
And even if you're watching this later, and not on the day that his birthday is, go do it anyway, because
just go spam his Twitter with inappropriate jokes.
Just go spam it. Okay.
But yeah, we are talking about E3. E3 2017 happened this past week. There was a lot of really cool announcements. There were a lot of cool shitty announcements. If you want to read a really good roundup, Bookworm here did an article over on the Grand Geek Gathering website. So go read that, because that is an awesome.
I also made a really, really long photo album Facebook post with all the announcements in order of release date.
Yes, she did. And it is awesome to look through. It was probably a nightmare to make.
It was.
So go look at GamerKulture on Facebook, follow the page, and then read along to all of that. So, number one, let's go around the room. Let's start with Squeaky. What was your favorite announcement from E3?
Is that working now?
Can we hear her?
Is that working now?
I'm waiting to hear.
We're delayed, so give
from
it a second.
4 Wheels.
If it's
the other
working...
two chicks. Okay, so he can hear me and Bookworm.
Yes! Okay, no.
I said other two chicks. He means me and Bookworm.
Great.
They were waiting for it to catch up to him, I think. Anything
but
yet?
Not the
4
one
Wheels.
sitting in semi-darkness. Semi-darkness, thank you.
And give him a...
We got her? Do we got her?
Do we got me? Yay! It works now? Okay. Yeah,
okay.
I had to figure
From
out
the top.
You have to give them a second. They're delayed.
Okay, so what I was saying earlier was that Nintendo was my favorite, announcements, and I'm just going to do two. There's one where it was an expected and one where it's like a not expected. And my expected one, I was really curious about what the Zelda Breath of the Wild DLC would be like. And we finally got to see actual footage and more details about what the extra story mode is. And the story mode is going to be about the champions, which I'm super excited about because I want to learn everything about the character Mifa because she's the best character in the whole wide world. Like, I'm serious. Like, I cried, and I don't usually cry in video games. Like, it was like so good. So perfect for me.
Yeah, if you've played up to her part of her story, it's you're not gonna have a fun time. It's pretty sad.
It's pretty sad. That whole place was pretty sad, which was good. Like, gosh, a Zelda game had never made me feel so much. Almost with Midna, almost though. Midna's just a little too charming for me to cry fully for her.
Well, and I don't want to. It's been out for 2 months, and she's not dead. Midna's not dead. Mifa is dead.
Yes.
So.
But she's not going to be dead in the story mode, in this new story. So I'm going to be happy. I'm very curious, like, if we get to play as different characters. That would be cool. Or at least, what I really, really am hoping is that we get to play as Zelda and Zelda exploring. I think that would be really cool. Maybe you would have Link alongside you who was helping you out as you were exploring. It's like maybe just like a small mission mode. Like you're going to certain places and you're like learning stuff about why the technology is not working anymore. And Link's there beside you as you're figuring
I'm thinking if they did let you play as other characters, they would have to do some kind of limitation.
It would.
But but they do have the ability to have people follow you around, because at least if you have the amiibos, you can summon Wolf Link and he just follows you around like a puppy.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. So I don't know. Okay. I've always wanted a Zelda game where you could be able to play as another character. I think that there have been a few times where that has happened in like little increments, like Majora's Mask, where you had the whole cafes quest and you had to help him get the sun mask and you had to perform a puzzle together. And so you had to step on a switch and then suddenly you would be Cafe and you would have to press a switch on his side and keep on going back and forth between the two characters.
Is that a Capeve?
No.
Cafe is a nice person.
Yeah. He's a cool person, yeah.
Cafe is a nice lady.
Lady? No! Don't say that, Zelda Rage!
I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't play these games.
The sadness. Sadness.
Cafe is this little character who gets cursed. I think it's by Skull Kid. Yeah. I can't remember if it was actually Skull Kid who cursed him into being a child on the day of his wedding. And so he runs away in shame, and you have to... It's actually a really sweet but really long side mission.
Really sweet and sad. Like,
yeah.
It's a good story. Because Cafe's... And then he gets... Okay, so there's like... For Majora's Mask, they have masks instead of engagement rings. They use masks as engagement rings. And so they each made a mask that they would exchange on their wedding day. Cafe's mask gets stolen. And so he's like a little kid and his mask is stolen and he's like, I can't marry my girl right now. I've got to figure this out. So you're helping him out and helping him push his way back to not feel embarrassed that he's a child and go over to his fiance. Which is very funny because once you go there and they like accept each other, your fairy makes a very awkward comment. Oh, they look like a mother and child.
I'm gonna chalk that up to this is a game made in Japan and there was a translation error. That's what I chalk that up to.
No, I don't think so. No,
that actually sounds like something they'd say in Japan.
And it really does look like
it. Look related.
It really does look like it's a mother and child just hugging.
It does.
It's so cute. But anyways, going on to my second favorite thing, it was the Metroid 2 remaster for the 3DS, which I am super stoked about. I don't care about Metro Prime. I don't care at all.
Here's the thing, though. We didn't really see much for that. Wasn't it just like...
we had a whole demo.
They had a full demo.
At the Treehouse, we had a demo, and it was pretty cool looking.
Okay.
So there are two Metroid games coming out. You have Metroid Samus's Return, which is basically the only remaster of Samus 2 since like Samus 2 came out on Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
It's been a while. And they did have a demo for that. They announced Metroid Prime 4, which I'm excited about, but it was literally just an announcement.
Yeah, they didn't show anything for that, which
it's
kind of hints that it's probably not going to come out until 2018, 2019.
I do like the fact that the Metroid fandom is now out of their coma they've been in for a while, so that's nice.
That is nice.
So,
and hopefully we can all move on from M and still love this series.
We could just ignore that
she's allowed to be badass again.
Yeah. Let's just ignore that.
I mean, like, allowed, because apparently she has to ask for permission.
Metroid Other M is a bad game mostly for what it did to Samus and for a few of the mechanics. But it does have some pretty good boss fights in it.
Oh, yes.
I will say that.
That is true. In fact, Samus or Metroid has always been really good about its boss battles.
Yeah, but that game... It's not part of the Prime series. It's not part of the main series. No. I don't even think it's actually canon.
It's so like some kind of fan game. It's a fan game. Let's just call it that.
so it's very easy to ignore that it exists.
Yeah. I think that was the only of the big games that I watched. Because I'm not really into the Prime games at all. I tried watching one of them and I was just so bored.
They're so fun to play, but I'll admit this one thing about them. It's literally like you are alone in space, and that was the atmosphere they were trying to get, but that also means you're in a lot of areas with like almost no sound a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So
I mean, when I saw it first come out, I was thinking they're just trying to do a Dead Space thing here.
Yeah, that was out about that time. So they're like, hey, let's try and do this weird, stompy shooter alone in space game.
Yeah. I mean, it might have come out beforehand, but I just looked at it as like, I'm sorry, but I'd like my Metro game to be side-scrolling. I'm just side-scrolling platformer because I played the crap out of the first 2 games with my dad when I was like 5 or 6 years old.
And that's fair. People have the same argument with Sonic games. You know, people like Sonic games as 2D side scrollers. When they went to like the 3D behind the back like level exploration, that's when we started to see people pipe up. Be like, this isn't my Sonic. Hashtag not my Sonic.
And you hear the same thing with Zelda games as well. I think it's just games that are so old that they're able to go into 3D because there was a time when they used to be in 2D. You're always going to have people who prefer either or.
Zelda's done it the best, though, I think.
Zelda's done really good. Yeah. Sonic actually has a bunch of really good 3D games.
At the beginning.
Sonic is
at the beginning.
I've heard some people, I haven't played it, but they said Sonic Colors was pretty good. I've never played it though, so I don't know. And that game came out a few years ago.
It makes me a little suspicious. I think that any of the Wii ones, I tried some of the Wii games for Sonic, and I was just like, no, I just can't play these. Yeah. But I love the GameCube ones.
Yeah, it's actually funny. The only game I've heard on the Wii that was good that was Sonic Colors. They'll tell you right up that 3 rings are like the night one and the one that's stuck in like Arabian Nights are terrible. But they're like, Colors was fun. And I was like, okay. So anyway, sorry, tangent.
Someone else can now take the stand.
Bookworm, favorite game of E3?
Okay, so I'm kind of have to split this up too. My favorite secret reveal was Beyond Good and Evil 2, and that's just because I've been waiting for this game for 15 years.
The developer's been waiting for this game for 15 years.
And I do have to say, I got a little emotional when the developer got on stage and he had feelings and he was tearing up, and I was like, oh God, you've got someone with that much passion. I really, really hope that Ubisoft doesn't cockblock him.
It really was. He was really trying to not cry. Like he's been trying to get this game made for years.
Yeah.
And things kept getting in his way, and like seeing everyone's response to the trailer, he's well deserving of, a couple tears while on that stage.
And it is also a lot of the same development team, so that usually means it's a good thing. It wasn't another developer. But I don't want to say that was my favorite because we just got a trailer. We got really no gameplay. So I think one of my favorite things that had gameplay was actually, I wrote about it in my article, and it did have some gameplay, and I just find the story interesting. It's that Detroit Becoming Human. Yeah, that's it. Detroit Becoming Human. Mm-hmm. And that was based on the tech demo Kara from quite a few years back. And I really like storylines that deal with AIs and, where does life kind of begin? Does artificial life have life? And it also is like, it's very similar to the Quantic Dream Telltale series formula. So I know there's going to be people who don't like it because of that, but I play games for stories. So if you can give me a good story, I usually like it. So I'm just very interested in that just because I like the philosophical questions behind it. So.
Okay. And that's your big one for it. Okay. Mm-hmm. I have to say for myself, so like I said earlier, my 3 that I was the most excited to see. Assassin's Creed Origins, because it just looks so good. I love that there's no eagle vision. We don't have detective vision anymore. Now it's just literally the eagle.
I like when they went up on stage and they said that they're going back to their roots for the series because that's what they've been needing to do for a long time. Now, I don't know if that's actually true, but it looked like it was.
Yeah, or like what going back to your roots means. I think going back to our roots might also indicate the fact that this is the origin of the Brotherhood. But I liked seeing Assassin's Creed. The Spider-Man trailer was really good. But hands down, the game that still excites me the most, and this is really dangerous because I'm starting to feel the hype, and there's nothing worse for a game than hype, is God of War 3, or God of War, or Dad of War, or Son of War, whatever the fuck you want to call it. God of War still looks so good. They've been doing these like development diary things that are really cool. With, like this guy like drawing out things in sand. It looks so good. But I'm so ready to just see old Kratos who just like, I want to know why we're in Norse land. I want to know what the combat's going to feel like now that we don't have the Blades of Chaos. Because there's always been those heavy melee weapons, but they're like side weapons usually. I'm excited to see like how he interacts with the boy. The boy, when he's in the fight, looks really fun. It looks like he's either firing arrows or doing a Re-Dead impression. It's just so big and grand. I can't wait to see Kratos' character, like how he's developed. I'm really excited for God of War. So God of War was absolutely hands down the game of E3 for me. I mean, Assassin's Creed, just like I like the series. They've had some major bumps along the road the last few years. I haven't enjoyed a Assassin's Creed game since Assassin's Creed Brotherhood.
Yeah.
But I know people like Black Flag. I never played it. Everyone says it was the pirate shipping that looked good. Speaking of pirate shipping, Skull and Bones looks really good.
Not Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
They both look good.
Yeah.
They both look good, and according to people that have played them both, they're similar, but they do different things. Like they do the same thing but differently.
No way.
So Sea of Thieves is like a lot more goofy, whereas, and like you can you could go on land and explore on land, whereas Skull and Bones, when you board a ship, it's like a coup de grace instead of like actually boarding the ship. It's like, oh, they're low enough that we can just finish them off. But yeah, so that was my big one, and that was I'm just the Spider-Man one just looks amazing. I'm a little bummed that you can't like quote kill enemies in Spider-Man. I mean, in Spider-Man you could still like throw a dude off a building, go down to the ground, find him, and he's just like knocked out. But in this one, like if you throw a dude off a building, the model will like twist around and like grab him and pull him back, or like web him to the side of a building or something. And I'm like, that's stupid. My Spider-Man's a cold-blooded killer.
Which Spider-Man have you been watching or reading?
Yeah, right?
I'm just Spider-Man like, that's Spider-Man's morality right there.
And that's the thing, too, right? Like, Batman has the rule of don't kill. I don't think Spider-Man explicitly has a don't kill rule.
He doesn't have a don't kill rule.
But he's just not the person to kill.
I think there's been some comics where he interacts with Punisher and he doesn't understand Punisher's need to
yeah, I remember that.
Mow down everybody. He's like that's wrong, and Punisher's just like, well, if they die, they're not going to come back and murder people, and he's just like, but that's wrong. And so I don't think Spider-Man is I don't think you're going to be able to be Punisher as Spider-Man.
Fair point. Okay. So that's the highlights. Now, what games disappointed you? What was your least favorite announcements of E3?
Oh, gosh.
What were you like, I hate this, I don't want this, or this is just dumb?
Instead of games, can we just label companies?
If you had an entire conference that you're like, this was crap, go for it.
I went hard on them, but I'm going to say Bethesda. They really disappointed me. And, like, before anyone says it, no, I like Wolfenstein 2 and Evil Within, and I like the Dishonored DLC. Those look great, but those are also games that a lot of people are not interested in, even though I personally am.
One's DLC.
Yes, and also I'm sorry, Bethesda, stop milking Skyrim. The horse is not even a horse anymore; it's a big bloody pile of pulp. Stop feeding it.
You're also stealing my entire argument. Go ahead.
And just the other thing I was just thinking was just EA, and I don't know why I have any faith in EA because they always bone me over, but just like their whole conference, they literally showed 8 games, and that was it. And one of them was a teaser trailer for Anthem because it was going to be shown at Xbox the next day. So they really only showed 7 games.
Really? Anthem. Oh, man. Anthem.
Yeah.
I want so bad to be wrong, but I feel like Anthem's going to be one of the biggest disappointments. Because there's no way it's going to look that good. The whole interaction of like, I thought those were characters having in-game dialogue, but it was them in like simulating like VoIP chat, like chat. And it was really? I thought those were characters talking to each other.
Well, at least the facial animations are pretty good.
Yeah, we know where that budget went.
I think I want it to be pretty decent, and I think it will be. But I'm trying to be very careful to not get on the super hype train because I also don't want to be so disappointed. But I do have to say I have more hope for it because they gave BioWare's A-Team this and pushed off Mass Effect, which really pisses me off. But, you know, I've got a bit more hope for it.
For anyone not in the know, that was the joke about, you know, we know where that budget went. Mass Effect's facial feature budget was apparently 2 shiny nickels that they forgot to rub together. Because it apparently all went to Anthem.
It's not necessarily that. Okay, so the story behind that is BioWare's A-Team studio, their main studio, has been working on Anthem, which was also known as Project Dylan for a while. And they also had Mass Effect Andromeda, but they wanted to push out Andromeda for some reason, probably EA. And so they gave it to their side studio. And I'm sure their side studio does great support work, but they were not ready to be a main studio on a franchise like Mass Effect.
Isn't that what happened with Arkham City?
Yeah.
Is that Arkham City or is that Arkham...
It was one of them. It might have been Arkham Knight. It was Arkham Knight or Arkham Origins.
No, it wasn't Origins because Origins was pretty good. Okay. Arkham Knight was the one that was because that's the one with the car.
Oh yeah, you're right.
The car guns. That was the one where it was like this. It just did not run well. It was just bad.
That was the PC release for Arkham Knight. The console release for Arkham Knight was fine. The PC release was farmed out to a studio that obviously had no business doing work. PC ports. Did support works, and so the same thing happened. And the thing about it is, Mass Effect Andromeda is not a bad game. It's a very meh game. But, you know, when you have a series with that nostalgia and that fan base, it felt really kind of insulting that I'm sure it was EA, I'm sure it wasn't BioWare, made them release a game instead of just delaying it so that they could work on Anthem and then, you know, switch it over. But whatever. I do think Anthem has hope because you do have a team that knows what they're doing on it. So.
Yeah. Okay.
But caution. I am being cautious.
Okay. Yeah, cautious for Bethesda. Squeaks, what was your least favorite announcements, conference?
I think I mean, I'm not too disappointed. Video games are video games a lot of times for me, and I just realized sometimes I'm just not the audience. But one game stood out to me that it seems like the dumbest creation and money-grabbing thing ever.
I can't wait.
Which is the Monsters of the Deep Final Fantasy game, which is basically Final Fantasy fishing. I'm like, we wanted this and in VR? Like...
I feel like that originated from like a Reddit post where people were like, what's the game you want? And they just trolled the fuck out of it.
I mean, why don't they just add that as like a mission that you can do in the game itself? Why make a whole game? It just hurts my brain so much. It just makes no sense to me. Kuma, are you going to die over there?
Oh no, I can't see Kuma's face.
What's going on for you? Go ahead and speak now.
Oh no.
You should speak now.
Fucking why? This is Final Fantasy 15. Look, I haven't finished it yet because I couldn't bring this to continue with Bachelor Party Simulator 2015.
Yes.
But why? It's
Why?
a fish game. I get it. Fish. I get it. There is no reason reason that it needs to be a whole game. None. Who is the demographic here? The fishing sim fans? They don't care about Noctis? They don't care about anyone in this game?
The Bass Pro and the anime fans combine.
All 5 of them, where that Venn diagram connects into that tiny little square, circle, whatever it forms.
What's that Dragon Ball Z thing, or where they do like the connection thing and they become one? What is that thing called?
Fusion?
Again? Yeah.
That's what happened.
That's what happened. Big Bass, Bass Pro and Final Fantasy just did a fusion. It's like, no, don't touch fingers. Oh, they touched fingers. We got this now.
I get it. Some people probably really enjoyed that mini game. Because that whole game is like, let's take a bunch of little things, strap them to a body, and call it a game. What you've done is taken that part of Frankengame, ripped it from the corpse, and said, here's a person.
I have to say, I don't have as much hate for Final Fantasy as apparently Kuma does, but Final Fantasy 15.
I love Final Fantasy. That's why this hurts.
But it's like I still haven't played most of Final Fantasy 15, so I can't speak on it. But people who have said it does get less of that as you go on. So, but yeah, I do have to say, if you have to put 20 hours into something before it stops being that, it kind of does make it shitty. So.
Final Fantasy X Blitzball 2015 would have been a better game.
It would have, actually.
I would have played that. I would have said, yeah, that fucking little game that you have to play in 10-2, where if you have to beat everyone, including Shinra, and that little shit cheats in order to get the mascot costume. I did it. Oh, God, I'm losing my voice again. Yeah. I got it. Damn it, I 100%ed that game. I hated myself for it, but I got it. Oh my God. Yes, I agree. I didn't like the fishing game either.
That's just stupid. That's just...
I actually forgot that existed. I forgot that was a thing. And I made the slideshow, so it's in there.
I was in the same room as Kuma when we heard it. And I just saw him there, and he was just quiet. He was just quiet. I could just feel the brew inside of him.
It's been cooking! God, and you know what? Like, that wasn't even my least favorite game.
Go for it. What's your least?
But it is now. No, okay. I was actually going to say the exact same thing that Bookworm did. Pretty much Bethesda's conference. And here's why. Bethesda showed us a sequel in Wolfenstein 2. They showed us a sequel in Evil Within 2. And they showed us DLC. Let's just call it DLC. Let's call it what it is. It's DLC. The expansion to, I almost said
Dishonored 2.
Yeah, to Dishonored 2.
It's actually not, okay, so it is DLC, but it is not a sequel. It's actually going on at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a side DLC, like more story explanation.
Despite the fact that they showed nothing original, nothing. Everything was either like sequel or expansion or add-ons. Evil Within, again, horror, not my genre. Looked like a good game. I could say it objectively looked like a good game.
I'm so excited for that game.
Wolfenstein 2, I loved the trailer. It was a lot of fun to watch. The Dishonored trailer looked really good. The Creation Club, I think, is dumb, but I'm willing to give it a chance and see what it can produce. Because if mod makers want money, they deserve to be paid for the work that they're doing. And if they get from what I've heard about it, it sounds like it's going to be monitored. It's going to be curated. They're going to be pretty strict on what goes on it. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. I'm down with that. Them curating the mod list.
And what's important to know is that I'm not necessarily shilling for it, but the original free mod market is still going to be there. The modder has the choice to make it paid, or they can just release it. So you don't have to participate in it.
Yeah.
And then we get to Skyrim. I love Skyrim. I think it's a great game. I think it was a great game when it came out in what, 2015?
2011.
2011. Yeah, Jesus Christ. It came out 6 years ago. It was a great game. It is a great game. People love to mod it. In fact, modding it is what's keeping it alive.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it's still a great game to play. You could pick it up right now and enjoy Skyrim. Mm-hmm. It's finally starting, I think, to show signs of aging, but it hung on there for quite a while. But I'm done with it. Skyrim's run its course. I get that it's a great game. I get that people enjoy it. I get that people continue to find ways to enjoy it through mods, but it's time to get a different game. Yet we are constantly seeing Skyrim show up on new consoles. We're constantly seeing new remasters, new remakes. And then we're getting VR Skyrim. We're getting Switch Skyrim. We don't need VR Skyrim. You are remaking a game for a gimmick. VR is really cool. There's a lot of cool things you could do. And it's starting to become a mainstay feature more than a gimmick. But for now, it's still a gimmick in gaming. Mm-hmm. And it really, we just need to move on from Skyrim. We need to move on to the next Elder Scrolls game. And they need to start working on the next Elder Scrolls game. We need to start seeing that work on the next Elder Scrolls game. Because you cannot continue to ride the Skyrim horse up that vertical mountain. It's done. It's over. We need something else. Yeah. And I'm sick of seeing Skyrim everywhere.
Yeah, I think I said this earlier. I have a Switch. I also own Skyrim twice. I own the remastered and I own it on PC. I'm not going to buy it for the Switch. I do not need 3 copies of the same game.
Yeah. And I'll admit, I had it for the PS4, and then when it came out on what do you call it? When I got a PC and I started playing more on PC, I bought that. And I had a lot of fun on all of them, or on both of them. But again, it's time to move on. It's time to let Skyrim rest and give us something new. Because like Bookworm said, all they're doing is milking it. They're just beating a dead horse. And it's not even a dead horse. There's still some life in that horse. But eventually it's going to die. And they need to have something ready when it does. Hopefully they do. Hopefully it's not just more Skyrim.
I was even talking to a friend of mine. I said, even Fallout 4 VR and Doom VR have more validity to be a thing than Skyrim VR.
Yeah.
Because those games are less
Doom
than
VR.
2. Yeah, I wasn't impressed with it either, but those games are at least under 2 years old.
Yeah.
And they haven't had multiple
Doom
releases.
Yeah.
Well, okay. The new Doom is under 2 years old.
Now, it's in the new Doom too. Like I was just like, it's cool, I guess, but the problem is the movement. The fact that they're doing like the teleport movement. The game Vindicta that we tried at VRLA was really good because you move by holding the buttons down and running in place, and that's how you move, which is a really good workout. Let me tell you. I played that game through 3 times. And I worked up a sweat doing it. It was awesome. I'm like, I am working out by running through an evil warehouse full of robots and putting bullets in their heads, and it is awesome.
My thing for Doom VR is that so many people are going to be sick. It's just, it's just one of those things. You're jumping around, you're moving. I'll be playing it on console, and I'll be several feet away from my TV, and sometimes I have to stop and take a break because the movement's making me sick.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh God, people are gonna die. Not literally, but just like, puke.
Alrighty, let's start going through Bookworm's pictures that she posted for us. Again, you can go onto the Facebook page. She has the name of the game, a picture, the dev, the release date, platform, genre, and a link to the demo,
or the
trailer
released.
Or video, or yeah. So we're gonna start, and then if someone has quick comments, we'll just say quick comments and then move on to the next. ARMS for the Switch. Thoughts?
I think that's
fun.
An interesting game, and I see a lot of my favorite YouTubers play it right now, and they really love it.
It looks silly. It looks funny. I want to play it so bad.
I think that if Nintendo plays their hands right, they could actually have probably one of their few games become competitive.
I think that they tried to do tournament at E3 of ARMS.
Yeah.
I think they actually tried to start that over there this year, and they want to continue it. At least I know they definitely did with Splatoon, but I think that ARMS was also one of the other tournament games that they had up there.
Splatoon 2 and ARMS have their greatest chance of actually becoming things we could see in competitive gaming. Yes, and I think they need to push that. So.
Yeah. Next one was Minecraft 4K. Also announcing crossplay.
I'm very happy with the crossplay because that's one of the things
Xbox, Windows, and Switch. No PS4.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. I mean, PS4 is... Xbox...
Sony...
Xbox Minecraft, I think, is the most fun version I've played.
All I have to say about Sony is that we have to remember that Sony is a Japanese company, and they're very hesitant to do things like crossplay, but I think if that's the way the wind starts blowing, they'll do it. They tend to do things. I mean, they do backtrack. They do go back on what they say, because they were like, we're not doing mods for Skyrim, and now we have mods in Skyrim. So just give Sony some time. They're just being Sony.
Yep. Next one is Super Mario Odyssey.
Woohoo! I'm so excited for it.
I'm pretty excited.
I was not at all interested in Super Mario Galaxy. This, however, got me into it because it feels like it's going back to its silly roots of the 64 again, and that's what I love the most about it.
I haven't played a Mario game since Galaxy.
Oh my gosh, Sunshine!
I liked Galaxy, but...
You didn't play Sunshine?
I've never played Sunshine.
I need to sit you down and play Sunshine. You need to play that. It's just for Flood. You need Flood in your life.
Sunshine is good. It's not perfect, but it's good. I like the fact that somebody in Nintendo was like, we need an idea for a new Mario game, and they were like, well, I've been playing a lot of Grand Theft Auto. Can we kind of do that? And they just went, sure. Apparently, I mean, obviously they're not murdering people, but that's just what it reminds me of.
It's a shame. Right on that.
Instead of hijacking cars,
murdering people in Mario is in the next slide.
Yeah. Instead of hijacking cars, they're hijacking people and monsters and objects.
But it's not cars, so it's okay.
I mean, he can do a taxi.
Yeah, he can.
Yeah.
So he can possess anything.
Next one, which if you have not seen this image, please, Facebook, GamerKulture, look this up. Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle. You need Princess Peach Rabbid in your life.
And you need to check out her Twitter page.
And her Instagram.
It's just beautiful. She's just beautiful. Just check it out, please. I'm not going to say anything else.
Right. It's just
if you've ever played XCOM, it's XCOM with Mario and the Rabbids.
Yeah, obviously not going to be as hard as XCOM because this is aimed at children.
Mm-hmm. Also, probably no permadeath.
Yeah, probably no. Well, actually, no permadeath, but I really kind of want there to be permadeath because you got to teach children at a young age that life's not fair.
Look, life sucks. Luigi's dead, and he is not coming back.
That's what I'm just imagining because that's what they do in Fire Emblem, but Fire Emblem is not geared towards kids. So I'm like, there probably won't be permadeath, but if there is, oh my god, Nintendo stopped giving fucks.
Beautiful. Looks silly, looks fun. I mean, if I had a Switch, I'd buy it.
I'm thinking about it.
Next game, Super Lucky's Tale.
I don't know enough about it.
It's a call back to the 90s kind of platform games. It's a platformer. It's a side-scrolling platformer.
It's a cute platformer with an animal mascot.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
I'll have to see more from you.
You were saying it's a throwback to the 90s. I'm like, can we leave the 90s in the 90s?
No, we must beat the dead horse that is the 90s.
Yeah.
Hey, if something brings back old school platforming with newer, updated gameplay, and I'll be good with that. But I'll just have to see more about that.
I'm absolutely fine with platforming coming back, definitely.
Yeah.
It's just, do we really need the cutesy 90s animals again?
We don't need 90 of them because you could not go into a game store and look at 5 games and not have at least one have an animal mascot that was cute.
It's cute. Next one was the game that I was convinced it was Tomb Raider until I was told 5 times it was not. It's Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, which calling it now with 100% more lesbians.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's basically kind of the same thing as the Dishonored DLC we were talking about. It's like a side story. It's not really a full game.
Mm-hmm. Do we know what the price point's going to be? Is it full price game?
I don't think it's full price. I think it's either
40
$20.
Bucks.
It's like $40.
I was say $20. That's like indie dev full price.
$40 bucks.
$40. Okay. Yeah. All right. Next one, Evil Within 2.
Yes. So excited for
that. It looks. I'm very excited. I played the first one. I didn't necessarily think it needed a sequel, but I'm happy we're getting one.
Oh.
This is the one where at the end of the game he wakes up in like a bathtub animus, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you, Stephanie? Did you play Evil Within?
I did, but it's been a while, so I'm gonna have to replay it.
Did you at least play the DLC?
I don't think I did.
You need to play the DLC because that's what sold me on the lore of the Evil Within.
Yeah, I gotta do a full playthrough of that. I might actually film it because I have capture card and it's on PS4. So it's been a while since I played it. So yeah.
That would be very entertaining.
Also, this trailer image is really weird. It's, hey, you've heard of whitewashing? We've literally whitewashed our trailer.
Yeah, it kind of works though for what I remember the story. So I don't know. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Next game, Days Gone, the one that Wildcard thought was Last of Us.
He thought it was Last of Us for quite a while too.
Other people were saying live action or live version of Walking Dead.
Yeah, I like it. I like the fact that we had zombie animals. I don't know why I'm stuck on that point, but I feel like there's not enough.
2 games had zombie bears.
What was the other game that had zombie bears?
Metro.
Oh, okay, Metro, that makes sense though because they're not really zombies; they're just radiated mutant creatures. But
you look at that bear in Days Gone and tell me that thing does not look like a radiated, mutated bear.
Well, okay, I will give you this. We do not know what caused the creatures in Days Gone, so it could be mutant radioactive creatures. We don't even know if they're dead. They may not even be zombies.
It could just be the standard, which is fungus.
Yeah.
I liked the first trailer that we got last year of Days Gone, where it was very like, and we still got some of that, where it was like, oh, it's very environmental. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things in your environment that you can interact with to escape the zombies, to slow them up. Last year we saw him going through a warehouse and throwing stuff in their way and blowing stuff up.
So cool.
And this one we saw him blowing up a gate and setting a trap.
Mm-hmm. I think what sets this apart from a lot of zombie games that I've seen is that, you know, there is a horde, but it's not a horde you can realistically just shoot up. You kind of have to figure out how to deal with it. And we still saw that this year. So I think that the more I see, the more I like. I might actually pre-order this.
Yeah, it's not an enemy that you can fight. It's an enemy you have to either run away from or redirect. It's a force of nature. You can't fight nature.
That's a good term for it, yeah. I like that.
It's a good way. It's not just your regular, shoot 'em up zombie game, which I do like. This one, you're actually going to have to use your brain.
Yeah.
So.
Next one, Dishonored, Death of the Outsider.
I still have to watch Dishonored 2.
I still have to play Dishonored 2, but from what I've...
We have our two different gamers.
What I've heard is that it is a side story and it's a standalone release, so you don't necessarily have to play Dishonored 2 to play it. But you do probably have to play the first one, otherwise you're not going to know who the fuck the outsider is.
Yeah.
Or Dodd, for that matter, because he's in there too. So...
It was kind of cool. It was cool seeing the character with, like, the fake arm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's
and her
cool,
using all the powers.
Yeah.
So she was cool. Next one's Detroit Become Human. This is one of those games that, like, I think looks really cool, but would frustrate the fuck out of me. Because I would want to be like, I'm going to use the creative solution. Like, when we saw it, it's like, how do we dodge the police? quick, come over into this bus stop and make out with me, and we'll just be like a couple. We didn't see anything, sir. We were making out. And that will probably be like the worst decision I could make.
It's definitely, it is Quantum Dream, so they've done Heavy Rain and they did Indigo Prophecy, which were pretty good, but they also did, which was kind of...
Oh, y'all are cutting out for me. Hold on. Whoa. I lost y'all.
But,
hold on,
so
hold
really...
on. I'm losing y'all.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Let me just make sure it's working again. Can y'all try?
Technical difficulties.
Okay, we're working again. Okay. Y'all just froze. So it's good now.
So, but yeah, so I mean, it's kind of one of those things. The thing about interactive stories, which is what I like to kind of label these games like this and Telltale, is that it really just depends on how good the story is. Because there are some seasons of Telltale series that are just hard to get through, and then they come back and find their footing. So it's just like...
Well, then a game like Beyond Two Souls, like, most of the time when you were given a choice, it was, here's choice A or choice B.
Yeah.
And they didn't affect that much.
Yeah, it was really like little things would affect you later, but it was right in Detroit Become Human, there's a scene where there's literally like, here's 7 choices that you better pick from in the next 4 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it reminds me more. They went back and focused more on Heavy Rain for it, because Heavy Rain had a bunch of choices that actually did matter, because they also had like 8 endings. So I don't know. It's one of those games that's really going to depend, one, on how good the story is, and I like the theme of the story, so that's why I called it out as one of my favorites. But 2, it's also going to depend on how it's set up and how its choices are. So it's just one of those games you can't call yet.
Next game, NBA Live 18. Do any of us care?
My brother is excited about it. That's all I know.
I do. Okay, I will say one thing about it. If it has the face capture again, I'm going to be so happy to see people try to make their faces and then get really freaked out when it can't figure out what a human face looks like.
Yes.
Is this the one where there's like, oh, hey, it's another sports game with a story? Y'all liked that, right? That's what people buy our games for.
And pretty much every sports game nowadays has the story aspect to it.
Really?
From what I've seen, yeah. I don't get it, because it's one of those games like, do you really need a story?
I mean, my brother doesn't.
It's like, I just want to play the basketballs.
I just want to play basketballs.
So. Next one, Shadow of the Colossus remake.
Oh! It's beautiful.
It looks so good.
It
looks so good. And someone was trying to call me out on, like, didn't they just remake it like a year or so ago? Listen up here, you little shit. They re-released it and they cleaned it up a little bit, but this is
like a
pretty
full-on remaster. Like, it's gorgeous. One of the problems I had with watching Shadow of the Colossus was that the main character's hair and his clothes were very weird with its animation, and it didn't feel fluid like other games that I was used to watching by then.
Yeah.
And I was like late to the train for Shadow of Colossus as well, so it didn't help with that. When I saw like the new version, it's so smooth. It's like flowing in the wind beautifully, and it has texture and movement, and it's just gorgeous. And I can't wait to watch people play this. Maybe even try it out on my brother's PS4, because I know he's gonna get it.
It does look really good, and it's just like, it doesn't even look like a remaster. I mean, it's not a remaster. It looks like what they did is they basically made new models, a new game world. I'm wondering if they're going to incorporate some of the stuff they had to cut out of the PS2 version because of space limitations. Yeah, if you go and you look on some, like, people have delved into this game's code. There was like two areas that are still in the game, but they were completely cut out. There was also supposed to be more than just, I think it's the 10 Colossus that they have. I think it's 10. It was actually supposed to be like a lot more, like up to like 20 or something.
Wow.
Yeah. There were going to be a lot more Colossus, a lot more areas. If you can use the parachute that you can unlock, if you use the parachute, you can actually glitch yourself into some of those areas.
So I'm wondering, since it looks like they basically built the game from the ground up. I mean, obviously they had some source code available.
We'll know
they're gonna
by
add
his
it.
running animation. Extra
True.
Credits did a series on Shadow of the Colossus, and one of the things they pointed out was his unnatural running movements, where when he runs, when Wander runs, he like snaps his leg out, and then it comes down. He looks like a really weird dancer. So we'll know once we see that. We're getting pretty close for time, so let's speed it up a little bit. Next one, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Has anyone played that yet?
I haven't played it yet.
I need to see.
I've heard
One
it's
of those
fun.
battle royale games that people are kind of popping up these days that people like.
I hear it's popular right now.
I've heard good things about it. It's got good reviews on Steam.
Yeah. Next one, Life is Strange Before the Storm.
Yes, I'm
Wildcard
so
had all
excited.
the feels.
I am so
This
excited.
looks like I still haven't played Life is Strange yet, and this just looks like now I gotta play both of them, which is not a bad thing. But I'm also looking at this going, I'm gonna cry.
You're gonna cry. I haven't played it either yet, and seeing that it's all about Chloe, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play the first one, and now I'm gonna play the second one, and it's gonna be beautiful, and I'm just going to just get all the feels inside of my heart, and I'm okay with it. I'm just gonna treasure
next
it there.
one. Next one is another sportsy game called Laser League.
That actually looks fun as hell. Like, it's sports, but it's like sci-fi sports. Which
and
is
it's 505 who are helping to develop Indivisible, which I backed and have been waiting for. It's probably going to come out next year. It's supposed to come out this year, but it's probably going to come out next year.
Okay. Yeah.
Next one, Kingdom Come Deliverance.
That looks really fun, but it's kind of one of those games that's like going to be, it's like open world, but it's like realistic sword fighting. So I'm just thinking Game of Thrones, but not Game of Thrones, which could be fun.
Game of Thrones with less tits. I just sold the game.
Or more tits. I don't know. It could be rated M.
No.
Tits are covered. So.
Brace yourself. Next one, Killing Floor 2, The Summer Sideshow.
I didn't even watch the first one.
All right.
I didn't know.
Transference.
That looks so odd.
That was the
title.
That was the
Elijah Wood.
Right?
Yeah. It looks like something.
It's a surreal VR game.
It looks like I just took a hit of LSD Simulator. That's what it looks like to me.
LSD Simulator 2017.
Which could be fun. It could be fun. I'm probably not going to play it for a while because I don't have VR.
Thank you, Neo-Human. There was 16 Colossus in the game, not 10. 16.
16.
Thank you.
Okay.
What's next? Next up is Rocket League.
Rocket League is fun. And I like the crossplay aspects.
That can be very cool that it's on the Switch. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how people are going to play it differently because I've seen the comparison of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Wii U versus Switch, and and even for Splatoon, people are even talking about how different it is for controls. That they have to completely rethink how they play the game.
Yeah.
Next game, Fallout 4 VR. If you want to hear my argument for this, wait for the video to come out and then rewind to when I was talking about Skyrim VR.
Yeah. Anything that was old and has VR slapped on.
I think it's not going to be it's not going to make as many people sick as Doom will, but it's also one of those things where I'm just thinking somebody's going to be playing in a dark room and a ghoul's going to scare them and they're going to just punch the roommate in the face or something.
Yes. Next game, Halo Wars 2, Awakening the Night, a Halo RTS. Finally, we get a second one.
I know people are excited about this, but I'm not a Halo Wars fan, so I can't really.
I'm not an RTS fan.
No.
Squeaks, anything?
No, I don't care.
All right. Deep Rock Galactic, Danger, Darkness, Dwarves. I've watched this trailer 3 times. I still don't understand what I'm watching.
I don't know what this is. It looks sci-fi awesomeness, so I might give it a shot.
There's a game that came out a while ago that people were playing on YouTube where like you're a bunch of little dudes on this like foreign planet, and it's like mining and trying to build up your base, and there's like dust storms. It looks like that, better graphics. You're still mining and exploring, and then every so often it turns into Left 4 Dead.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm like, okay. Next game, Spider-Man.
Woo. Spider-Man
looks so good. It looks so good.
It's basically Batman skinned Spider-Man.
Yes, okay, it's got the combat of Arkham, but the web swinging and
definitely
web
a
combat
different thing for that.
of Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Of the Spider-Man 2.
I will say that I want to play this game, but I really hope that the quick time events are only used for stuff that is like, obviously players can't figure this out. It's used in a way that they would use in Metal Gear Rising, where they did it in the big boss fights and it was kind of fun. I don't want there to be a shit ton of QTs.
That's a good point.
So,
and I just want it to be open world.
Yeah, same.
I'm sorry. I just want to swing around as Spider-Man. Like, I'm fine if it has a story and I have to like follow the story in certain places. I just want to be able to take my time to get to the story.
I think it's been confirmed as open world. I might be wrong, but I think it was confirmed as open world. So
okay. Next game we don't have to talk about much because me and Bookworm already went over it. Skyrim VR.
Moving on.
Keep being that horse, Bethesda.
I don't know how you pronounce this. New Everybody's Golf. Everybody's New Golf. It's a golfing game.
There were two golfing games at E3 this year for some reason, and I don't care about either of them.
It was a fishing sim too.
Really?
Monster Hunter World.
My brother's really pumped about it.
I'm really excited about that. I've been a fan of the Monster Hunter series for a while. I love that it's coming back to console. It hasn't been on console since like the Wii, so it doesn't. They usually do handhelds. Yeah. They're also looking at it to make it more accessible because I realize that this is probably going to be the first time people play a Monster Hunter series.
That's true.
But they want to keep it challenging. So, I mean, this is basically...
they really want you to know that you can cook meat.
That's been a staple of the series. That's how you heal yourself.
Okay.
But, yeah.
I didn't understand that joke.
It was kind of like a little side joke, yeah.
Yeah, it was a little side joke. You have to be a fan of the series. And it's basically like Dark Souls with gigantic fucking monsters, which is kind of basically Dark Souls. I don't know.
I like that it looked like he's like, there's no way I can fight this myself, let me lead it through a bunch of traps and then lead it to a bigger monster.
And then you just you make armor out of the monsters, which is really cool too.
The way the Monster Hunter series works is you can either have people in co-op or you can do it yourself. So you can actually beat monsters single or with people. If you're single, you get like little cat pawns. They're basically cat people.
That's
but they
right.
do little
I remember that.
Do little rules. And so, you can either play it online with friends or single by yourself. And it basically is like, I've never played Dark Souls. It's another game series I'm going to start playing soon. But I basically played this, so I'm like, what's the difference?
You want to know something kind of funny that happened to me yesterday? My brother and I, we were at the mall. We were just chilling out at certain like little geek shops and everything. And we'd go into a plushie store, and they have Monster Hunter plushies.
Yeah.
They have like
of the
little monsters, little plushie monster versions of the big, huge monsters. And then also the cats as well.
Look, it's the only game where they have a black Black Panther dragon and a freaking lightning wolf dragon. So it's all I can say. It's pretty fun. It's gonna be awesome.
God, we're running so long.
No,
4 more games. Ruiner.
I don't know what that's about. I don't know what that's about.
I don't remember it.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
He's got a gun. He's got a P90.
Okay.
That's cool, I guess.
It was shown at the PC game show, so we missed that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, did miss that one. Next one. The fuck? I missed this one too. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga Bowser's Minions.
Yeah, I saw that.
They are releasing the first game in the Mario and Luigi series for 3DS. Yeah. So I mean, it's a remake.
It's okay.
But it was a good game. So I mean, it's gonna be probably okay.
Genre RPG. Cool.
Yeah.
Next one, Destiny 2.
People are very excited about it. It does look pretty good.
The most interesting thing I can say for Destiny 2 is that they're pairing up with Activision Blizzard, and Destiny 2 is going to be part of the Blizzard Net launcher.
That's weird. I didn't know
So
that.
if I launch it right now, it's not on there yet, but if I launch my Blizzard Net, it used to be called BattleNet, now it's Blizzard Net. It's going to be World of Warcraft, Diablo 3, StarCraft 2, Hearthstone, Heroes of the Storm, and Destiny 2.
That's pretty insane.
Which is interesting. It's like, does that mean they're going to have cross content, like pets and armor and effects? Oh my god, that makes so much sense. Oh, wow. Legion has a vendor in the main city, Dalaran, where you can buy items that are puns of Destiny's weapons.
Oh my god.
There's a gun in Destiny called Galahorn.
Yeah.
There's an item you can buy called Galler's Horn. Oh my god, wow. Okay. I just made that connection.
I do have to say that one thing so Destiny has a lot of lore behind it, and the lore is actually pretty interesting. It's just not integrated into the game real well. It looks like they're trying to focus on story more with Destiny 2. So I kind of am excited to see that, because I do read the lore from time to time. I just don't play the game, and the lore is pretty damn interesting. So
after one expansion, the lore gets good.
Yeah. So
last one, Crackdown 3, brought to you by Terry Crews.
That looks fun. That actually looks fun. I'm probably gonna what they do need to do though is that I looked into it. They don't have Crackdown 1 or 2 on backwards compatibility for some reason. So they probably need to fix that.
Yeah. He was the best part of that trailer, IMO. I've never been a huge Crackdown fan. Like, I respect that people really like it. I'm not a shooter guy. My shooting is done in Skyrim, or not Skyrim. Overwatch. Skyrim with a bow, I guess. I mean, I usually main the bow in Skyrim.
I'm just thinking you installed a mod that gave you like an assault rifle in Skyrim, because I bet it exists. I bet it exists.
I'm sure it does. So. I mean, Terry Crews was fun to watch. Wildcard Thing said that was probably the reason he was at Blizzard Studios, but because it's Activision, but I still think he's going to be Doomfist.
You know, he could just be both.
He could. I can't imagine the Crackdown trailer took that long, like that much work. But yeah, I mean, it looks fun. It looks fast. It looks, lots of action, lots of moving parts, lots of explosions, lots of bullets, throwing cars around. It's everything Crackdown's always been.
Yeah.
And it's open world.
Yeah.
All right, so I believe that was everything on the list.
Everything on the list that we have an actual release date for.
Yes. Well, you did have some on here that were TBA.
There's a bunch at the end. Like, I know Kingdom Hearts is a TBA, but it was technically there. You have Metroid 4, which is a TBA. You have the unnamed Pokemon RPG, which is a TBA, which we don't even have any information about. Yeah. So, I mean, but that's stuff
Kingdom
that
Hearts is the closest, because we know we're getting according to them, the last pieces of information next month at D23.
About Kingdom Hearts?
Yes.
That would make sense. So, and also with the other games that are TBA, obviously these are games that are not going to be released in 2017. They're either going to be released late 2018, early 2019. So it's likely that they will be more of a focus at E3 next year. So we don't really have to go over them. But yeah, so that's kind of, so like the whole list is from release date is settled by release dates. But when you get to the end, it just turns into a big mess of TBAs. And I know we didn't go over all of them, but do we really need to when it's going to be at E3 next year? So.
Oh, all right. So closing thoughts. Any closing statements about E3? Did you like E3 overall? Dislike? For me, I thought it was fun. I thought there was a lot of cool games coming out. I was kind of giving. There were some games, and usually E3, like I'll see one or two games I'm really excited. This is the first year where I was like, there's a solid 3 games that I'm like really into. Assassin's Creed, Spider-Man, and God of War. There were a couple others that I'm like, I would play it given the chance.
I think what I'm excited about is that there's actually, so it started off really slow. EA and Bethesda had the first 2 conferences and they were just terrible. So So once they actually did Microsoft and all that, it actually got really good, and it turned into a pretty good E3. One of the things I'm excited about is that there's a lot more indie titles at E3 now, which is something
I was going
very
to say
nice
too.
To see. Sorry.
That's my stuff right there. You just stole my stuff. Thank you.
Squeaky, go ahead. Interrupter, you go in with that.
There's one game specifically that I really thought was really cool, which is, I think you pronounce it Ashen. And it basically, it looks like, oh gosh, Shadow of the Colossus in like a more cel-shaded form. And you're going to be able to have an open world, and you get to be able to find people throughout the open world, befriend them, and ask them to help you fighting the giant monsters.
You know what I've heard people compare it to? They said it's like Shadow of the Colossus meets cel-shaded meets Dark Souls. And that just sounds awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So. A cel-shaded Shadow of the Dark Souls. I'm down.
Yeah. And there was one other, which was like Light. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but it looked like a cyberpunk game.
Last Night?
Yes.
Last Night.
Yeah. That looked really cool too. I'm very interested in that. It's
Last
pixel.
Night.
Yeah.
That dev is actually getting a ton of shit right now.
That dev is getting a ton of shit that he doesn't need. Yeah.
Apparently, he's made some pretty far left.
He's
made some right-leaning comments before, and I guess the game is actually set in a very far left dystopia.
Yes and no. So he clarified when they found those tweets. I did some research into this when I wrote the article. When I did some of the first of all the tweets they brought up were 3 years old, and I don't care what anyone says. If it's over 3 years old and you said it on Twitter, it does not matter to me because your opinions can change in 3 years.
That's true.
Secondly, when he was originally devising the idea, he was going to do a dystopia where extreme progressivism was kind of what was going on. And I actually want to write an article about why dystopias of extremities are good, but that's the point. But anyway, the game now is set up in a place where instead of progressivism, it's extreme, technology has taken over to the point where most humans, if they can afford the enhancements, they live kind of a life of pleasure, and robots are doing every menial task. And the protagonist is a guy who, for one reason or another, can't get the enhancements. And that has to do with what's going on. So that's all the plot details that have been released. So everything that he was being attacked for has nothing to do with what the game is now. So
okay, that's good.
But yeah, people on Twitter is a cesspool, but they were calling him a Nazi, and I went through the guy's timeline. He's a centrist. He's not a Nazi. Stop that. Yeah. But yeah, it looks, anyway, back to the game. It looks very good, especially for an indie. It's got an interesting plot, and so I think it's one of the titles that I was very excited to see as well.
Yeah, it all looks good. E3 is pretty solid.
Yeah.
This year. All right. Thank you everybody so much for tuning in today. For all your gamer culture needs, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch TV, and thegrandgeekgathering.com. The show has been brought to you by the Grand Geek Gathering Network. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review us, and follow us everywhere you can. And a special thanks to the band Alex and Alex for granting us permission for the use of their song, Glam Jam. Join the gathering, stay cultured, have a great week, and GGG!